Hi, we're sitting down today with Zofia Forsyth, founder of the Amaldi Group. Thanks for making the trip down from Boston and sitting down with us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. The first thing I always like to do, I'd love to hear about your background story. And I know you immigrated to the U.S. I'd like to hear a little bit about that and then dive into your career.
Sure, absolutely. So I came into the US in 2006 as a student to study accounting in Iowa. And the way I got in is back in the days, we have those internet cafes. I'm from Uzbekistan. So I would go to those cafes and they look like more like a dungeon space in somebody's basement. And a bunch of boys will be sitting in there playing Counter-Strike. And I'm here basically trying to apply to universities all across the United States.
Okay.
And to be honest, I did not know what I was doing. I was just applying to anywhere that would take me. And then one day I got a letter, you accepted. It was amazing. So I got accepted to Northwestern College of Iowa in a small town in Orange City. And I remember the day that I was at the airport and I was crying my eyes out. My grandma was there, my whole family. Our families are like big. You know that movie, Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah.
That's our family. Everyone. So everyone comes out to say bye to you. And I'm crying my eyes out. I'm sitting in the plane still crying. And I remember the passenger next to me goes, "What are you crying about?" I'm going to miss my family. Like I'm going out to to get education in Iowa. It's like, that's what you need to be crying about. That you're going to Iowa. Do you even know where you're going?
You didn't know where you were going, did you?
No, I had no idea. And when I landed there, all I see is fields and little house. And my first question was from the coordinator that picked me up. I was like, do they have electricity? Do they have water? I'm like, they have everything. What do you think is happening here? I come in from a suburbs of a larger city of Tashkent, still living kind of and if living in the outskirts, we still have those town, like kind of nothing like land and just little house. Sometimes in cities I grew up, we don't have like electricity. So those towns will not have like consistent water or electricity. So in my head, that's what I'm picturing.
That's really funny. The U.S. sometimes refers to that area of the country, particularly the New Yorkers, as flyover states, because you wouldn't really go out there and of a little crash. Okay, so you're in Iowa, you're in school.
Yeah.
How well did you know English?
I actually studied a lot of English back in school, back in Uzbekistan. So yeah,
pretty well.
Lots of pretty.
That's
well.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you learned accounting. Walk me through your time as an accountant, and then what made you pivot your career?
Absolutely. Well, my big dream was to work for Big Four. I just thought, and that's what I actually told to the interviewer when I was getting my visa, that I'm going to work for Big Four, KPMG, Ernst & Young, and I had even cut out from the magazine and I plastered it on. Like, I'm going to work in these big offices and have a corner office, and just that was making it for me. But once I graduated during 2008 recession time. So, and then I just never made the cut. I went for my CPA as well. I got that done, but I kind of ended up in a corporate finance world.
Yeah.
So, I definitely felt a little bit as a failure that I didn't get into Big Four. But then I started looking around in my job and I noticed that there was just a lot of monotonous, repetitive tasks. Corporate accounting, doing the same thing, monthly close, and just cleaning up the books and getting bank reconciliations. And I just started automating it with Visual Basics. Just started kind of sitting at night. At that time, you have no GPT, no ChatGPT, none of the tools. You have YouTubes, you have random forum chats where you put your dummy data and then you hope somebody answers in the morning, and somebody usually does. So just started tinkering with that. And then my CFO, I'm so grateful for the opportunity, kind of saw that in me. And I started talking to IT folks and basically saw the F5 button, the magical 5 button. You just press it and all the data gets processed and spits it out in a second. I was like, I want to be there. So I had an opportunity to move over to the IT department. And that's how I ended up in data analytics.
Okay. So core skill set in finance accounting, finance role, over in the IT side of it, data and analytics. And then in 2021, you get a bug. Yeah. And you decide to start a company.
Yes.
Tell me the story.
Yes, absolutely. So actually, with COVID, I got laid off and I started looking into freelancing just until I find the next job. And now that I know my accounting, I was like, how can I help? Just started kind of going on Upwork. and started applying to a bunch of jobs. And the first one was at the property management for a small company, just helping them with systems, applying my technical accounting with systems. How can I set up all their properties, all their tenant work, and just little by little. And then I got a job and I still kept that. And I started kind of getting more clients and I kept it going. And then in 2023, I went full time.
Okay. So tell me about your company now. So it's 3.5 years old.
Yes.
What's the company look like? How many people are on your team? What are your service lines, your offerings, and your goals? What's your value prop? Tell me.
Absolutely. Sure. So our team is about 10 people right now. What I'm passionate about is, I think it all starts with going back to my accounting days, just seeing the monotonous work and seeing long nights from my team members, even from myself, and just how can I problem solve with just different tech now? At that time was Visual Basics. Now we have data analytics and AI, helping businesses with when I hear, oh, like we have no workflows, we have no processes, and it just things taking such a long time. Like, and I come in and kind of just, I love that because I get to craft the new innovative ways of solving these problems with new tools, like, and then buying back their time immediately. So that headache is gone, for example, even with small little innovations.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of my passion now. Yeah.
So tell me about your first client, right? So I find a lot of people that have like a good idea or they have they see a market need.
Yeah.
And they can't get a client. They can't get anybody to pay for it.
Yes.
So tell me about your first client.
Absolutely. So my first client came to me, and I remember that. I actually have the check. My first check is still in my folder. I have a secret folder where I keep all my, I'd say, notes, all my encouragements, sticky notes that I gave myself when I changed from when I got yes from my C4 to move into IT, and same thing, the check is there. So I remember getting that first client. I was so unsure. Like, I got this proposals approved and I was like, can I help you? In my head, I was like, what if I fail you?
Yeah.
You coming to me, you're paying for these services. Because when you work at the corporate, you have team, you have managers, you have peers to kind of give you advice on. Here, you on your own and people paying you money for it.
Yep.
And I'm just like, and he's like, I really need these financials to be ready like in 3 days. Can you help me? I'm like, oh my God. So I have to set everything up, basically set all the systems up. And I just kind of dived into it. And I was able to do this. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. So I'm not fired yet. He's still happy. I can deliver. And then I realized, started talking to his team members that they're behind, started educating them. And I just saw like, okay, this is working. All right, this is great. And then I started getting more traction on the other people start seeing, for example, that I do this and kind of, that started going up.
Okay. What would you say your key service offerings are?
My key service right now is we help businesses with, so a lot of business right now coming on because AI is just overwhelming for a lot of businesses. There's a lot out there. Every day there's a new model, new feature, and a lot of businesses don't want to be left behind, and they want to use AI to cut the overhead costs that they have, or to help them make more money, for example. So they come to me, and the key offering that we have is, all right, how can we onboard AI for you effectively, responsibly? Are you even ready for AI? Because a lot of business coming through me, and then what I realize is that they don't have system, they don't have processes, and what we do is we kind of do the assessment of where they are at, kind of like assessment of their business, of their processes, and then we determine, okay, is this reporting automation that you need? Because every business needs to know where they are at with the performance-wise, the financial performance, before they go and spend money on ads, or before they go and hire people or open a location. So we make sure 70% when they come in, they want for AI. Number one thing off the cuff is automation reporting on their financial reporting.
That's what they want, or that's the first thing you want to do.
That's what we see that they need.
Okay.
Exactly. Because once we start talking about, they want, like, I want AI to automate for example, like even little tasks, right? I want chatbot, for example, or I want to be able to put right strategies for my marketing, or I want this communication or this follow-ups to be automated. But then the core of it is, now that they start talking, it's like, I have all these reports. Can AI just help me to get insights on them? But we need to build data infrastructure. We need to clean the data because again, if you don't have a good data, AI is useless. It was just going to get garbage in, garbage out, basically. And putting those systems together to make sure you have consistent flow of reliable data sources for you to provide information on the fast and rapid and reliable information. So our core values is we come in, we're data scientists, we evaluate where they are at from the systems, evaluate their data, and then we determine, okay, based on your need, is it a business intelligence need? And then is it AI need? And AI need comes in forms of chatbots. For example, interesting stats that I just read, 27% of sales fail because salespeople at the time of the sale don't have information ready to go for them because this data is sitting everywhere.
So it's, we were looking at this company that produced like samples for a chemicals company. They ship samples. It's pretty obvious. Some salespeople were waiting 2 months to get a sample. The customer's gone.
Yes.
Like the customer, you can't get a sample product. The customer's absolutely gone. I see a lot of executives these days wanting to use AI because it's a buzzword. They're like, oh, I need AI.
Yeah.
Or they turn it into a check the box.
Yeah.
How do you convince them? Well, that's like a journey. Like you need automated report. You need automation. You don't need AI. We need to automate this.
Yeah.
And so how do you work with them to get to that answer? Because you're making more sense to me when people say some people push the AI.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So talk me through that and the different path that they go on and how do you unpack that decision?
100%. So I deal with this almost every day. People come to me and I love my job because I get to educate them and get to show them. For example, as I mentioned, company comes to me and they're like, I don't want to be left behind in AI. We need AI in our business. I was like, all right, let's talk about this. Let's schedule a call. Let's look at your system. Let's see what you have. And then they're like, and then I educate them. Oh, you want your reporting to be cool? Like you're pulling your manual Excels from multiple systems that you use. Your systems don't talk. That's just reporting right now. Automation, this business intelligence. It's not AI right there. And you can actually save money on this because AI, right? It's costly. First of all, it's tokens. Every time you prompt it, AI basically counts these words and charges money for you for that. So you don't need, for example, depending on what solution is, you don't need bazooka for a little, a little flag.
Right.
So that's where I come in and basically educate them on, all right, well, depending on what we're trying to solve, so first of all, figure out what are we trying to solve? What have we got in terms of systems right now? All right, and what makes from cost and time analysis, what's the best tool for that?
Yeah.
And I sometimes there is AI. Sometimes AI is great for knowledge base. For example, gathering information from multiple sources, from your Slacks, from your Google Sheets, from your PDFs that like laying around somewhere on your on your file explorer. Gather all that proprietary information and now putting a knowledge-based chatbot that now has that role, and then also cleaning that data that you're feeding in to make sure that, hey, when somebody gets on a sales call, now instead of looking through this, okay, well, let me look, did we sell this person?
20 different files, right?
Exactly. Read them. AI could just quickly scan them, read them, and you just prompt them, and it gives you the answer right there.
Okay. And that's my next kind of point is like the innovation here is like exciting, but it also has to be kind of practical.
Absolutely.
Right. So everybody wants the next sexy thing.
Yeah.
Right. We're a little bit more on the last point. What kind of wins have you gotten for your clients that makes them realize practicality is usually better than super sexy?
Yeah.
Usually. Like give me an example of like a problem you solved.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Find give me a situation, what was complicated about it, and then how did you get to a resolution?
Yes. Well, number one, let's say on the data analytics side, it's every time now, whenever I speak to the business owner and whenever they tell me, oh, I have these multiple systems and we have multiple people pulling these Excel reports and the data is not consistent, we're missing money. We're missing revenue right away.
We're missing revenue.
We're missing revenue because
missing the target, or we're literally missing it? Both?
Both.
Okay.
Because nobody's looking, right? So it's what you track improves. But if you're not looking what sells best, because your data is in multiple different systems, by the time you pull this system, by the time you pull this, they all outdated. You're not streamlining your reporting. You're not looking at analytics. You're not looking which facility, for example, clinic does better than the other. Then when you onboard the overhead costs, and For example, you have clinicians that work there,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, this clinic does not need this many clinicians. For example, you're losing money on overhead, or this clinic is serving these type of providing these type of services that are actually making you more money than the others. But because you're not consistently looking, you don't have a tool or that kind of gathers that information in real time and alerts you if certain KPIs are going down, but you're missing these critical key points.
Do you have a client example? I want to hear, like, you got into a client, you said it was missing. Like, what was the unlock? Like, what did you find and why was it missing?
Absolutely. So the unlock was once we gather everything and we put them in real time, now they see we had very interesting one. It was a happy client. So we had a clinic that wanted to see what are clients that are dropping off suddenly.
Okay. Just quit for no reason, not revenue. I got you.
Exactly. The volume of work that they're getting those clients are dropping quickly or consistently over time.
Okay.
And before they would do Excel files, what somebody had to put together, but then really every time there's no really history of it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of snapshot. What we built for them is analytics that now they can see, okay, what are our clients are doing over a period of 6 months, over a year, over this quarter. If someone is consistently dropping, let's go talk to them. What's happening? Right there, catch it before that customer churn, for example.
What is what kind of industry was this?
That was in veterinary.
Veterinary medicine.
Yes.
So customer being like patient is a dog.
Yeah, they were actually partnering up with other radiology clinics as well. So that's what was happening basically, and then the volumes were going down of the.
So the radiologist wasn't sending as many patients.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
Why were they not sending as many patients anymore? Were they not happy with the service?
That's
for them to figure.
That's for them to.
That's for them to figure out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
But they can catch it before that. Okay. Now I get it. Okay. If you look 3 years down the road, what does your team size look like? What do you expect to be doing?
Absolutely. I think 3 years down the road, where we're seeing agentic AI is going to stay and actually evolve and become more permeated in businesses and helping them to onboard AI safely, helping them to buy back their time.
Okay.
Either if we're doing the knowledge-based AI or even like simple tasks, all right, well, we have these forms right now. So every system, what it looks like is it's interesting. There's like parallels. So every system that's ERP system out there, any type of enterprise system, give the out-of-box data analytics. But what I see with the clients is that they don't use those systems because they usually generic. Same thing with AI. So there is, for example, big models, generic AI models, but they not really fit to know this customer, their business, their operations, how they do things. So this is where we come in and we use basically the models that are best models. We use all the models, benchmarking them for certain tasks so they can be more efficient for the business owner. So they can help them to cut like 20%, 30%, or somewhere even 50% of the work that somebody manually putting together. And now they can make more money with it because follow-ups is a very easy one. How many businesses I talk to every day? Leads, customers, right? They want more customers, but the customers are spread out everywhere on the emails. And they're not entered in the CRM automatically. It takes a physical person, just a little example, right?
Yep.
To come in and type that information in, and the follow-ups are not done. But then you have AI gathering all the information automatically pushing into CRM, gathering all your follow-ups into CRM, and then following up on your behalf as well. So now, you don't forget. And then another thing is like the easiest part, interactions. How can it be easy? So the chatbots could be so easy to deploy, like on your Slacks, on your Teams. What I say is that you can tie in the opportunity, and the future is to have a conversation with multiple systems that you have in one spot instead of going in each one of them and clicking and seeing, I want to see this customer profile and see when the last time they paid us and what was their activity, what type of things they purchased from us, or what type of service we gave them, for example. Even in the clinical world, I have to go on patient record and then I have to see the payments and like all these different systems that I have to go, for example. And I have to go to marketing, see what kind of customers we got from what funnels. But the futures all could be united and just quickly chatted from one window.
Super. So These 10 people on your team now.
Yes.
Actually, let me back up. How many different of these like technical tools do you have in your toolbox? Is it 10 different tools? Is it 100 different tools? How many?
Depending on what the client needs.
Yeah.
So about tech stack is definitely, we have people that are strong in Python.
Okay.
And then we also, that's kind of just backbone of all the AI. And then depending on what we're trying to solve, we use different large language models, benchmarking them because there's certain, as you know, there's so many models, right? You have Gemini from Google, you have OpenAI, you have Anthropic Claude, but all of them have different strengths.
Yeah.
So we need to know which one is good for whatever task. And also there's a cost efficiency on it too, because there are models that are kind of lightweight and they're less expensive. And also there are models that could be, for example, if they're HIPAA protected, that they don't want the data to be transmitted over the internet.
Yeah.
They want to be locally hosted. So we have...
You got a lot of tools in your toolbox.
That's right. That's right.
So I saw the NVIDIA CEO say the other week that, what Elon had built, so in like 18 days or something to get his, his server farm up for growth. Who's winning this contest? Is it OpenAI or is it Elon?
OpenAI.
They're going to win?
I'll tell you something. The stats show this. OpenAI have somewhere, it's crazy, 400 million users, I think, a week. 52 million a day, I hope I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Gemini from Google has about 9 million a day. Okay. So you see,
what's Grok at?
Grok didn't check. I didn't check on that stuff. But
I don't sleep on Elon. He tends to.
But here's the thing. You're right. But here's the thing. OpenAI, what they did is that's just such a strategic marketing move, right? So OpenAI started in 2022. When they had the first model, what they did is they shipped it out. And for Gemini, Google, for example, their strategy was, we're only doing this for enterprises, or we're only doing this for developers.
Yeah.
We want to make sure this is vetted 100% in before we put it out there, because there's hallucinations, there are errors. We don't want people make decisions based on something that has not been 100% vetted in. But OpenAI did, I'm going to ship it.
And they loved it. Everybody loved it.
I'm going to get common people, get their hands on it so they can get comfortable with the idea. Now, when you ask the common person what AI, what do you think they're going to say? ChatGPT. Exactly. So now AI is associated with ChatGPT. So OpenAI still has the majority of our market share. So I'm curious to see how that's going to change.
It's going to be interesting because is OpenAI going to be Facebook or MySpace? That's the question.
That's very interesting. And then another thing with X, right? So you get Grok once you are on an X, for example, for free. And I honestly, I try all of these tools. Sometimes for just research purposes, I have the same prompt going on Gemini, for example, OpenAI, and also Grok. But here's the thing. People make purchasing decisions based on emotion.
Oh, for sure.
People, sometimes when they feel comfortable with something, it doesn't matter what kind of technical abilities, what kind of whistles and bells and whistles.
Absolutely.
Like, I know this tool, I'm comfortable with this, I'm buying this.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I know people bought $50 million ERP systems because they liked the sales rep or they used it before at a absolutely.
Yes.
Super. Okay, so I go back to my question. You're 10 people now.
Yes.
What does that look like in 3 to 5 years?
Oh, I definitely want to expand. I want to grow. But I also want to as I help businesses to do AI, I also help myself and our business to use AI as well. Because I'm a business as well. So I'm trying to figure out, all right, even little things. As soon as I get a call, for example, record a call, I have a Asana ticket created based on that call, for example, as a to-do list. So just little things like that. Yeah. How can I automate my admin work? And also in our team, what models do we use to help us to code things better? Because the speed is a thing nowadays. And we have AI tools to help us to get to MVP, to test our new things that we're trying to build for ourselves and essentially for our customers fast. So I always have our R&D in place, kind of looking forward. And I also have a separate R&D research that's looking forward and saying, okay, what can we build? What works, what doesn't? What can we scrap quickly? I met Perplexity CEO Arvind Srinivas.
Really?
Yes, at Harvard 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I got to ask him questions. Actually, it was incredible. And handshake from it was just.
What was the big question? What was your big question?
Yeah, my big question was, okay, what strategy do you have for next? What strategic bets are you making in next 1 to 3 years? at Perplexity.
What
And
is
his
it?
question was 1 to 3-ish, too long. Quarter.
That's crazy.
Quarter.
What if
Because
1 to
things are
3 years
changing.
is too long?
Yeah. Because things are changing so fast. In 2 years, right? Nobody would think that things that happen in quarter are equivalent to 2 years span.
That's crazy.
Yes. And same thing with, so I listen to educate myself. I listen to Andrew Jing from, I'm spelling his last name, I'm sorry, from Coursera, from founder of Coursera.
Yep.
He also talks about speed. He talks about, how MVPs before, for example, would take months to deploy. Now with AI, you can just quickly come to the MVP stage. Something that took months will take, for example, a weekend, just kind of quickly test out to see if it's a viable product or not.
What's the biggest misconception people have about AI? Before you answer, me on Twitter, like for 100 years, people have been saying that robots are going to take jobs away. And technology has never caused a net job loss. Big move. We were 60% agrarian in the 1800s, and then we're at 5 or 10 now, or what we are. Not much. But it took 75 years or whatever it took. So that's my, when I think of automation, that's what my lens. What's the biggest misconception about AI?
So this is interesting. As I listen to the tech innovators like from NVIDIA and from Meta, right? They all, and OpenAI, they also investing, I think also in Grok as well, investing in robotics, right? And so everything that moves, the idea is everything that moves also be done in a bot, as a robot, basically. But here's the thing. Yuval Harari is one of my favorite writers. He wrote Fundamental Lessons for 21st Century, also Sapiens as well. And he said, very interesting, the Hollywood portrayed robots as something that would be taking our jobs, something so negative, something that's just, taking like Terminator.
Yeah.
All right. But it's not what we should be worried about. We should be worried about AI bureaucrats. What does that mean?
Oh, God, that's disgusting.
What AI bureaucrats, what he means by that is that in every business, there's going to be AI model, machine learning model, that's going to make decisions on, do I get a job? Do I get a loan? Do I get denial on my health insurance?
I never thought about this. That is scary.
That is what's going to be something that we need to think about. Not the robots out there, but really the machines making decisions on our livelihood.
I think you just ruined my weekend. That is way scarier than the robots coming alive and killing us.
Because so machines are very consistent, right? So one of the things about AI is it's consistent in terms of, all right, you give it a task, you have to evaluate, for example, if you say for insurance denials, these people are not going to be, for example, accept these are the criteria of people that you need to deny health insurance on or coverage for example. But when humans come in, we have ability to judge. We have emotional intelligence, right? Where we can override sometimes those exceptions. That machine doesn't.
Your judgment.
We have.
And it's factors that you can't, that are not ones and zeros.
Exactly.
That are.
Yes.
It's the, do you remember the movie iRobot?
I've never watched that movie.
You have to watch it because the whole point of the movie, and I don't want to give it away, was the judgment of a human is better than the judgment of a robot, to unpack. Not Will Smith. I don't. You should watch it because it's salient for this. Bureaucrats in government, they reward control and, I guess, predictability and repeatability. And that's like you get like the character like of the some of the Asian cultures of, you didn't miss the thing on this form, so you got to go way back the line, come back in 2 days.
Yeah.
Does AI go that way, or does AI help you get the form done? Because it would cost them more money. Sorry to make that you off.
Yeah.
It would cost them more money.
It depends. It depends on the data, right? That AI was built upon. So here's the thing. Another interesting thing that I actually listened to conversation at Harvard was how data is masculine. So data is not feminine. So that's interesting, right? Because who's putting together the data are more, so there are less women that are scientists that are involved in putting together these data models.
Okay.
So the decisions could be biased.
That's super interesting.
And those are the models that we're deploying right now. That's why you have OpenAI and Anthropic Cloud, right? We have this Google that constantly reiterate their models and invest billions of dollars to make sure that these models are not biased, to make sure that what they need to do for that, they need to scour the internet, right? Gather everything that's out there, and basically train their models on that.
So how would you remove? So in the news, the guy Luigi Mangione shot the CEO of United Healthcare.
Yeah.
Does that change if an AI is doing it versus a person making that decision? Does the backlash different? This unpacks a lot of ethical question.
100%. Very interesting, right? So who's responsible for
Who's responsible for that? And he didn't have his personal claim situation down. He just kind of knew about it. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But it's really interesting.
Yeah.
At some point, AI will at least make the first level decision.
Yeah. That's why there's so much scrutiny around, for example, in healthcare when AI is deployed, right? There's a lot of regulations that right now and a lot of talk about. I actually attended an entire seminar on ethical AI in Harvard last summer for an entire week. That's what we talked about. Ethical AI in education, in healthcare.
Yeah.
And government as well. Who is overseeing that? How are we examining that these data models are passing that check, that quality check, before they make decisions, before they help us to make decisions? Who's responsible for that?
What's more important? Is it more important? Well, I guess what's worse? Is it worse to not give AI enough guardrails, or is it worse to give it too much?
That's such a good question, right? Depends. I would say, here's what I would say. That's why it's so important for companies that onboard it, right? They need to onboard it, especially if they're making decisions, look at their proprietary information along with AI. So, because right now AI models are very general, so they need a context to make their decisions better and more educated as well. So that's why we need people that are onboarding them, evaluating and testing it profusely. And then it could be even some small models and also adjacent with their proprietary information, how they do the business, what kind of expertise they have to get better clarity on the responses, to get a better outcomes as well.
So can you build empathy into AI? Is do you know what I mean?
Yes, I completely understand. Actually, so even if you OpenAI ChatGPT, right? When you even right now, everybody has ChatGPT. It's free version, even plus version, $20 a month. If you ever interacted it, did you notice how it's nice to you all the time? I don't know. Did you pay attention?
Yeah, it feels phony, but yes, I do notice it.
So it's actually trying to make you, even if it makes mistakes, even if it gives to you false information, it still sounds pretty friendly.
Yeah,
Is that as well?
Of course, yeah.
Yes. So I think that is what usually, and it's AI there to make you, so the OpenAI tool is to make you feel good, actually.
Okay.
Because that's why the responses come in very friendly. And even when it makes mistakes, you kind of miss that. Because this sounds so educated, this sounds so good, right? But that's why we need human in the loop. It's so critical that we say, sometimes think, AI will come over and will take our jobs and we cannot rely on AI. We need, every time when I work with businesses, when businesses I want to onboard AI, so I don't need to hire a person. You do need a person. You do need somebody who knows the business, who's been there for a long time, to use that AI now to kind of guide it in, oversee it. It's a virtual employee that needs to be monitored. It needs to be, otherwise it's just a child with a credit card. You need somebody.
It's funny.
Yeah. You need oversight. You need the control. You need monitoring to get the full value out of it and actually get the full potential. AI with employee together that's been in your business for a long time is a superpower.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's pivot over as we get to the top. What advice would you give to someone who's starting their own endeavor? Let's do. What advice would you give someone who wanted to start their own thing?
Absolutely. So when I started, actually, I didn't start full head. I kind of started out of necessity.
Yeah.
I got laid off and I was looking for just the money to make, extra money to make.
That happens.
Yeah. And during COVID, I've always had two jobs. Before I even started my own business, I always had my full-time job and I always had a side hustle to kind of give me more money. So I say, before we go head in, it's like, all right, we need to figure out why. What are you trying to do? And also, maybe test it out while you have a full-time job. Maybe try that thing that you always wanted to and see how it's going to look like, what's the market for it. Because consistency is a key. Consistency, as entrepreneur, you get beat down. Sometimes there's high days, low days, and there's a lot of uncertainty. And you have people depending on you, you have clients that looking for your expertise to help to guide them. And you also have people that work for you as well to guide them and pay salaries for them as well. So there's a lot to manage. So I think knowing why and starting small, but starting is a key and staying consistent with it.
So tell me about the worst startup day. I've had some doozies.
Yeah.
Right. It's been 3 years almost for me now. What is that? Tell me about the day that you were just like, why am I doing this with my life?
I think it's one of the biggest things is that when you feel so many new things coming on, and then also when you have clients that you want to help, and then, for example, some of clients that churn, they leave, but they leave not because of your fault, but because, for example, we have clients that have been with us for a long time, like still with me, legacy clients. My biggest thing is obsession over my clients. But sometimes they're outsourced team. And we help them to the point that they ramp up their production, they onboard everybody in-house, and we have to part ways till the next project comes on.
Yeah.
And those are the ways, because you get really close to your client, you get very attached to your client. And, those are days and times that are hard to take on, but it's just part of the business, It's a part of the wave to ride.
The last question I ask everybody, what's the book you've read that has had the most impact on your life? And you can only pick one.
Oh my gosh. That was the hardest thing because I like to read books a lot.
I know. Everybody that I talk to and everybody that listens likes books, but I always make people pare it down.
One book that I would read again. Phil Knight, Shoe Dog.
The Shoe Dog. I haven't read that yet. I have to put it on my list.
Amazing.
What did you like about it?
The entire ride of him starting a business from scratch, him losing the contract with one of his biggest manufacturing. And one of the things that he's saying there is it's relatively easy to win your competition. But batting yourself every day is never ending commitment.
Yeah.
Something along that way.
It's where all our people that do stuff like that are always our own worst critic.
Yeah.
Every single day. I've had many moments where I've gone to sleep going, why did I do that? Or if I could do that over again. Sophia, it's been super nice sitting down with you today. Where can everybody get in touch with you?
Absolutely. You can find me at Sophia Forsyth and LinkedIn, as well as Instagram as well. And if you can just say AI checklist, if you're ready to onboard AI for your business, I will send you a checklist to kind of help you to see where you are at. And I know you're coming from this podcast.
Super. Thank you so much for making the trip down for Boston.
Thank you.
You're doing it in and out. Oh, actually, I'm going to tell you one more question. So I just correlated. You said you have a 3.5-year-old and a 5-month-old before we started. Did you start your business like 3.5 years ago?
Yes.
So, let's take 2 minutes and unpack that. What was that like?
I always had 2 jobs, as I said.
3, 4 jobs.
No, I had 3, 4 jobs. And yeah, I had my daughter. She's 5 months old. And I think this one was actually very hard. In March of last year, I guess I should have told this story. And when you asked me what was the hardest thing for me, March of last year, 2024, my husband gets laid off and I just found out that I'm pregnant with our child. So I'm the single breadwinner of the house.
Whoa.
That was hard. And I had, being the person that's always kind of hands-on with my clients, I did not know anything about marketing, sales, like that. And I'm like, how am I going to get more clients? And right now I have everyone depending on me, my family, my team. It was a very scary time for me.
Wow.
So I worked through it. I got coaching actually. Dan Martell is one of my coaches, signed up. It was one of the great decisions that I made. I also found more people on my team, an elite team, to help me out. And I worked through my pregnancy. I also gave birth and I started working right off the hospital as well. So I didn't take 0 maternity leave. Yes.
Oh gosh, good times.
So I now, since January of this year, actually my husband joined the company. So he works with me now. So yeah, effort, I would say. And I like Mark Cuban and I have literally print out what he said. The only thing you can control is effort.
Good.
And that is what I stand by every day.
Super nice to meet you today. You have a lot to be proud of.
Thank you.
Everybody say hello on LinkedIn. And you say AI checklist, right?
Yes.
She'll send you a copy. Anyway, super nice talking to you today. Thank you for making the trip down from Boston.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on LeverUp. We trust today's conversation provided meaningful insights into private equity and entrepreneurship. Stay connected by subscribing to our podcast for upcoming episodes.